Good morning everybody. I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown. That's my 140 watt solar panel on top of my work shed. That's the control for my little fish pond. Keeps the pumps nice and happy. As we move on into the shed, that's my control panel for my solar system. That runs practically everything in the hut. When the sun shines, that is. When the sun don't shine, then I revert to automatically goes back to a mains unit that automatically steps in and takes over. But anyway, let's move on. That's the shed emergency lighting. That's all my charging for drills and other units, all running off the solar panel, so it won't cost me much. This is my workbench. I have my DVM meter for big and small, solder sucking station and soldering station with built-in power supply. All cheapies off eBay, but they work very well and they do the job they're supposed to do. That's a small 16.5 amp 12 volt unit. That's another bench project I've just finished doing, which will test mains products and DC products, telling me if they're drawing too much or how much they're drawing. There's a nice little microscope previewer for looking at printed circuit boards. Works very well. Then we start off at the beginning here with my home security system. That keeps everything safe, recording. And my test units for testing power supplies, along with everything else. And then we have a nice interesting unit here. The top unit is a 240 volt mains unit. And switch it on. And what this unit is a complete isolation unit. It allows me to, if I can do it without getting my hands in the way, it allows me to turn the volts down and then turn mains volts back up again. The actual unit delivers 240 volts just short at approximately 2.5 amps and 110 volts at 5. It actually does very well because it allows me to test units that I suspect could be faulty, and obviously allows me to not damage them too far anyway, not using the full mains voltage or fuses and such. The bottom unit is a little unit I made up. Delivers 15,000 volts, maybe 15-20 milliamps, not very much but very effective. Again, with that switched on, and then you've got the green light flashes to tell me I can start working and connecting up the wires, and then when you press the red button, that tells me that the volts are there. And actually, as you can still see the outputs, there's no, what is it, but as the volts creeps up, that now is 148, 1480 volts. So roughly there, give and take a few volts here and there, but it does very effectively and gives me a lot of enjoyment. We switch them two units off. Next door we have a 20 volt 5 amp power supply unit. That's done me very well. At the top we got the main control unit. This unit it actually supplies the plug sockets at the back. It supplies all the other equipment, fully protected, and it also has on top a variamp. It can go from 0 to 240 volt, 260 volts actually, at 10 amps. I use it occasionally, especially when I'm using large transformers and that. It does tend to dig. The unit at the top is the control, which I can more or less give you a view there. I can turn the voltage down. Can you see the voltage going down? And I can turn the voltage back up again. And the small switches and the voltmeter, amp meter, they're actually for testing. You know, by plugging a DC voltage in there, I can select different wattages to see if the power supply is delivering what it should be. That's a nice little unit as well. I have a nice little 100-watt bench lamp that gives me all the light I need to work on. And again, that's a cheaper unit but works very effective. I had to put a little fan there just to keep it cool. That's this meter records what the shed is actually running on at the moment, and that's 1.2 amps at 236 volts from the inverter unit on the solar panel and the mains backup unit. Next door to it I have two power supplies. The top one is an heavy duty one. It's 15-17 volts at 25 to 30 amps. A nice little unit, comes in handy now and again. The bottom one obviously a small unit, 2.5 amps at 30 volts. That's not a bad little unit as well. Another little test unit there for testing the currents. A nice little 20 megs oscilloscope. Does me for what I want. Another project I built not so long back, and these incorporate some of the buck converters off eBay and that. And what happens is they're both step up, step down units. They're fed by a 12 volt 20 amp unit at the back inside, and they actually deliver the 12 volts to 80 volts at 10 amps reasonably well. Does the job that I wish it to do, and comes in very handy for projects where, especially on LEDs, the big 100-watt boys and that, if you put a couple together, it does tend to run them nice and easy. My old trustworthy computer system, still running XP, one of the best programs Windows made, still does everything I want it to do. And the workbench, nice little EHT unit. There's a VSV, this volts down unit, a couple of hard disks and whatever, and then we have all the rubbish below. Another interesting project of mine, which I'll be putting a small video on, is at the back there you can see there's a vacuum chamber unit. I use that for all sorts of little experiments. It's practically by vacuum, and it does make some nice big sparks when you pass the HT inside it. It's got two electrodes inside, two towers and wires. That'll be making a video shortly showing that working. That's very good actually, nice little project. Again, all the other little projects and all my bits and pieces. The old tank that I've played with occasionally, along with the boat, which has been modernised from the eBay. It was an eBay unit, wasn't very effective, so I upped it up a bit and goes like the clappers now. And everything else there. And yes, there's a lot of things. I remember another male control panel I made a few years ago, this one, and it supplies all the outputs and voltage. It has two DC voltage packs. It's 1 to 30 at 12 amps, and the other one is 1 to 20 at 30 amps. The outputs, all the meters, and they all come to light. And Siglet output for doing anything car wise and whatever. And then each output port, mains output port, has got a volt and current meter to tell me if everything's okay. Another project I'm going to work on. I've stripped the guts out of it, but I'm sure I can build something inside it. And this is my workshop. I hope you all enjoyed, as I have, looking and building a lot of these projects. I'm a 68-year-old retired electrical engineer, and I have to keep the old brain ticking over. So I hope you enjoyed this short video. Thank you very much for looking, if you have looked, and yeah, ask a few questions if you wish. Okay, thank you very much and goodbye.